Kryptonite's sort of banned away as Reckless Kryptonite is gone up to Tristana.
That's that's definitely a really interesting. That's an interesting one. I mean, that's definitely a know something we don't type deal. He's definitely played it in LFL, but it's still
against Solary, and he just had to play dodgeball the entire time.
Yeah, and they lost that game.
They did pretty bad.
That's definitely a scrim thing. Either way, a lot of the other big 80 carries are still up and available. Reckless, a lot of his good performances lately have been on the Jinx, but you're not going to get that being on the red side. It's going to go right over to Vitality.
And I'm assuming, I'm just going to do this. I'm just assume this, that then I think you all know what that means at this point of the next pick that will most definitely come in.
Zeri.
180C is gone. And the next one is, I forgot Zeri was there. I just assumed she'd be banned, but she got through ban phase. Look at that.
She did. 113 doesn't go for his signature Lee Sin. Instead, gonna go for the Xin Zhao. I mean, strongest early game champ, so it does make a lot of sense. Okay, early top blind there for Shigenda. Already, we're just automatically going to see him go for the Camille. I think it is often banned away from him.
It is.
So seeing that one picked up early on means that they do want to put priority. They want to pick support a little later on here.
I guess I'm not too worried instead. So we'll go for Prio, and the Cabochard decides he wants to bring out the Renekton. I was hoping for either Aurelia or Jax, but Cabochard is just so good on the Renekton, except when he plays against Darlic, I think, and then he dies on the Renekton. Right? Was that him? Doesn't matter. What that matters is that Darlic is great. And on the other end, so is Renekton. As you go in the next phase of bans, Thresh is banned away.
Right, and we're going to see supports basically pinched out here. There's so many mids that are available. Banning LeBlanc from Seiken makes a lot of sense here. And now we might actually see K-Corp ban one as well here. If the Ahri is something they're thinking of, if the Syndra is something they want to go towards, either way, probably things they could be looking at here. But for the most part now, with Thresh out of the way, there's still a couple other supports you can think of, like the Tom Kench, Nautilus, Leona. I think Kench maybe is probably what you want to be considering taking away, just because honestly, it is a really good pick at the moment here, and that's something I think either of these teams would be happy to get.
Most definitely. Things that are now things that are now teams will not be able to get. Leona alongside the Orianna, right? Syndra's still an option, like you were mentioning, but I wonder if Seiken actually does go for the control mage option, considering how heavily we see him play on top side and just that top quadrant for KC are so in sync. The Azir is an option we've seen from him before, has been quite good, and considering what's left up, especially like things like the Victor or even just the options there for the for small little evil guy. Veigar, thank you, this is a pretty solid pick into it. There you go.
Yeah, it is good. And honestly, you scale really well into the late game. You said it, Seiken plays that one really well. So you got to imagine Diplex could be either thinking of the Syndra here, Ahri, or going for scaling for scaling. So, Veigar is definitely going to be an option too, just because the CC from that Event Horizon is really good. So it is a good call out. And the fact that you can, honestly, you could have Lee Sin kick someone into the cage. It's honestly the worst feeling ever. So it's something they could easily play for. And K-Corp putting a lot of priority on last picking that support, because we know Zeri early on is very weak. So getting the better end of that support matchup, I think, is going to help Reckless have an easier laning phase.
I was thinking, as for the potential of Renata that could maybe come in, but why would you do that when Nautilus is still up? Like, good early CC and lockdown onto Zeri is so crucial, which is why we see answers like the Rel into it. Now on the other end, their own support pick is left to come. And I'm thinking this might be a poke lane, because Karma is banned away. I know Lux is a potential option, but I don't know if it'll actually be picked.
Yeah, I wouldn't be a fan of that one. If you wanted to go the range route, I think Renata would have been fine. Braum is definitely good, just because of the fact that, again, into the Nautilus.
All right, Beatdown Boulevard. Are you ready to see what it could potentially be the most controlled game we have today, aside from the Solary game, or something explosive, something rampant, as Shakespeare said, something wicked this way comes.
Explosive. I want to see explosive. Something explosive this way comes. Please, I'm speaking it into existence. I want to see. It's K-Corp. Like, this is what they do. They're always very aggressive in the early game, always looking for angles to be able to fight, really push their limits. And I don't doubt this game. I don't doubt that this game is going to be an exception to that here. And we're going to see both junglers pathing, looking like towards the top side of the map. And it makes sense. Cabochard, early on, will have the advantage in this matchup. Renekton super strong early on, and that's something you want your jungler to play through here, especially if you can get that 3-wave crash coming through. 1-1-3 can set up the dive,
Indeed.
and it's just easy clap.
I could not agree with you more. As right now, you know, both of these junglers will start on the same side. So not a ton of
No level 1.
Big action. Nothing level 1 like you were mentioning, but depending on the clears that we have between these two, you know, Skiing should get there first. And depending on the wave setup, Camille could take advantage of this. Now, I remember a long time ago, you would most often see the Nidalee as well matched up was beside the Renekton, not the Xin Zhao, right? Because that's how you want to set up the wave. You want to try to stack with the Renekton and go for a 3-wave dive once your league does hit level 3. Sadly, those days are over. I'm living in the past season, and Xin Zhao is our current future. As the hook gets put down onto Huntera, chunked to about half of his health, but he's a Braum, so he's fine.
Exactly. I mean, you got a lot of pots going your way, so Huntera is okay taking those and just eating up damage for Reckless, who's trying to farm. And I like this, the invade from 1-1-3, meeting him at his blue buff with the blowing kiss emoji, like, hey buddy, how are you? This is mine now.
Yeah, it's just that easy. I mean, he only takes 1 wolf, so it's not bad. It's not the worst one. And I believe was it like level 1 wolf caps are worth like 3 caster minions, right? So not much experience.
It's better than the first Scuttle Crab, that's for sure.
That is indeed true.
Yeah, and I like this too, 1-1-3 constantly. They always use their priority really well here, and it allows 1-1-3 to go for this invade, steal the blue buff, and already apply a lot of pressure here to Skeens on this Lee Sin. But Jack Troll, we've seen him do these level 2 roams before. Will it actually be able to find a whole lot of value is the question, because he's very far away from lane and will certainly lose XP because of that.
I was going to say, now, Zenda could have actually tried to possibly go for the solo kill here on Gabashard. He does have the flash that could have potentially forced it, but considering the proximity of 1-1-3, you know, probably didn't want to try to overextend for no reason. But Gabo now, in this matchup too, probably has to be a bit farther back, and if you are a Renekton who is not able to establish priority in lane, you are not having a good day, even a great day. You might be even having a bad day, I would say.
Right, and I mean, it's from the bounce back here. He crashed the wave and ended up walking up. Actually, he's in trouble.
Oh, yeah, that's the heal used right away. There's the flash, the slice and dice not there.
Skeens
commits for it. That's a 1-for-1. It's not 1-1-3 is here.
Yeah,
he wants to go in. He has double buffs, but that is still a Camille.
Yeah, he doesn't want to go a little too hard here. Most of this wave is still going to be picked up because Cabochard is, of course, able to teleport back to lane here. Cabochard getting the 1-for-1 is crucial. Skeens going for the flash in the process is unfortunate. I think he knew he was going to take that turret shot regardless, so he flashed in so that he could at least go 1-for-1. So it is well played by Cabochard in the end.
One after the next. It just continues on coming in. We call him the Cabo Chap for a reason. He's not afraid of much. But I was going to point out on just how well-timed that gank was as well from Vitality.Bee. They know because of how low Cabochard was, he was going to have to force things out, right? He was going to have to use the heal at the end. And just with that Q, as you see it again. Because look at this. It's just the waves there. They're waiting. They're looking. And they find it.
Right. Really nice setup there coming through from Skeens. And this is what we wanted. The early game coming through. Oh, it sucks for O2 because Skeens' early game calculator was a little off, it looks like, because he would have been able to survive that turret shot. But ultimately, Vitality looking for these plays is what I like to see. Because early on, being as slow as they have been, it's not going to work anymore, especially against a team like Karmine Corp. So Skeens is going to have to continue up this pressure, try and hope that he is going to be able to pick up some of these kills and give his laner some of these leads. Because if we're talking like later on into the game, Chicken is going to be a big deal. Playing this Camille, we talked about it. You're great on the side. You're great in team fights because you have that isolation with the Hextech ultimatum. You have backline access. So there's a lot of ways you can play this game out later on if you're Vitality.Bee, if you get these leads.
Exactly. And now with Vitality.Bee, they've been known to actually be really solid at, you know, extending the leads once they do match, to have one and just kind of starving at their opponents. On the other end, for Karmine, them playing from behind hasn't been that great. They've been small opportunities of them being able to come back a little bit, you know, be able to extend and find small fights to be able to do so, kind of what we saw out of LDLC earlier in the day. But things that go too well, especially when you shut down Cabochard as well, actually, which has been one of the ways that I found teams have managed to make sure that Karmine does not have a significant advantage going into the 15-minute mark.
That's a big deal because they usually win when they do have such an advantage
Exactly.
here. But they can win from behind as well. The plot armor is certainly thick with this team, so we're gonna have to see if we'll have to see if Vitality can continue up this level of pressure, because that's what they have to do.
Yeah.
They got to keep making plays. They got to try and play for these neutral objectives. They play for that early Rift Herald.
For sure.
Snowball top, especially if you continue pressuring Cabochard, and then you can get your Camille out of lane, get Shigenda lead, so that he's going to be able to affect other parts of the map and help you in these team fights.
Indeed, exactly like you mentioned, right? Because Bedwoskins and Shigenda, that duo has been like this. Two little broskies locked in one, right? They're side by side almost the entire time, and as you continue on forward, just that duo combination can make the life of Karmine Corp very hard. As we'll try to get you word on what the pause is all for, and try to get you back at the game just a little bit. Might be just some small tech issues that we're dealing with. You know how mices are; they sure are fickle. They sometimes double, triple, quadruple click, and you only want to click once when you're farming.
Yeah, that never feels good.
No, it doesn't, man. It's like, because my mouse, my mouse, I pray it never gets to that point, that it has to just start just double clicking. But I've dealt with people doing that, and when you're playing games, like League, you have to be able to time that click so perfectly, especially when you're trying to freeze the wave. Oh, it is crucial. As the game is ready to go back into it. Let's see what's up.
So far, not a whole lot, because you saw that move from Jack Troll. They are able to crash that wave there. Reckless and Huntera. It's not going to be used for that first strike that is up. Instead, it's about looking for a potential play. So no one looking to Dragon Stack just yet. We're still a bit away from that first Rift Herald, but already we're just seeing this move onto this top side of the map, and Shigenda is definitely pinging like, hey guys, hey, they're off the map. Hey, I think they're coming for me.
All these pings, you see them coming. Everybody's there. Oh my God. Yeah, Shigenda decides he absolutely wants zero smoke. He'll walk away from all this and just give this up. But he goes back in.
Whoa!
Why?
Pop Shigenda.
Yeah, I don't know why he walked back in there. He was fine.
Yeah, it's kind of a guess like where it's okay. Are they really here? Maybe they're hiding in fog. Fun fact, they're here. And Shigenda definitely pays for that one with his life. And now Cabochard is back in control here. He lost a good amount of minions as a result. Cabochard is continuously proxying and just picking up these turret plates. So now he's got a lead. Now he's looking great in these 1v1 situations as soon as he backs and spends all that gold. Now K-Corp can get control over this Rift Herald if they so choose. And
we spoke about this in the little pause we had, all right? K-Corp loves to make sure the Cabochard on the top side has a significant lead. They love to play through him whenever they have the opportunity to, which is why he's put on such high-level play-making champions like Aurelia, like Graves at times, like the Renekton, right? Like high variance, but high reward usually, for just how skilled the Cabochard is. And now with this, farm lead, should be able to assert his dominance a little bit more. Hopefully, they use the Rift Herald on him just to get him out of lane and just allow him and Seiken start moving across the map.
Right, Seiken already looking for these angles and did show some early on too with that play onto Shigenda. This is what we talk about. Even on champs like the Azir, not the most efficient roaming champions, he'll find the way. He'll find the timing to move out and help set things up. Now, Skeens will get level 6 off the Scuttle Crab, which means that K-Corp aren't actually looking for this Herald yet. I say it, but 113 is actually just going to go over the wall with that audacious charge, and it's actually, they aren't going to know that it's being done at the moment here because there's no ward in the pit.
They don't know. They have no idea. But instead, the Hexing Ultimatum will be
He almost has Dominus.
Onto Cabochard. And the Dominus, he actually didn't pop it in time.
No, he just, as he died, got it off of cooldown, which has got to be the worst feeling. Realistically, I think he would have just bought a few more seconds of life, so it doesn't really end up mattering.
True.
But he did buy enough time for the team to be able to get Rift Herald. And the only thing is that Cabochard will have to walk back to lane, but they could still look to use this one topside, or they could drop it mid for Sagan if they want.
Would you die on a big wave like that, or when you die on a wave like that, when you think you could have lived, would you call that just a walk of shame for the top laner? Yeah.
Maybe. It definitely feels a little shameful. I mean, it's good though because Cabochard has had a lead, had a big lead, and it's only gone into like a kind of okay lead now. He's still in a good spot because he has that Iron Spike whip. You have the pickaxe and a bunch of little trinkets going on here to give you some of these extra stats. So he's not in a bad place. He's not in a bad space overall. But I like the Vitality.Bee went for the play, and that we are seeing Skeens try to make things happen here. And even though nobody is going for the first dragon of the game, I think now Skeens and Vitality are trying to anticipate what 113 is going to do with this Rift Herald because they have to make sure it doesn't get as much value.
Indeed it does not, as all three of KC move mid. 113 could just look to just push out this wave and then drop it here. We were talking about unlocking Sake and Cabochard, but given the opportunity. But with all the contention from both these teams, will not have the opportunity to do so. Instead, they're moving bot side.
Bot side ends up being the play, just because you know that Jack Troll is away right now, and that means you're going to force Jessica out of the picture here. No dive is going to come through. It's good of Jessica to respect this Herald that's coming through, but now he can walk up because his teammates are nearby. The thing is, can they stop this Herald from taking the turret? They will force Corp away.
Yeah.
So some gold will go over to Reckless Huntera on 113.
Like 60 gold.
Yeah, because it's not going to be the full turret. But because Saken's able to move a little quicker, he'll snag himself a quick little turret plate here. So it's Corp who are moving across the map constantly and trying to pull Vitality.Bee this way and that. And so far, it's put Vitality.Bee in the situation where they haven't been able to really make too many plays that they want to. It's been about responding to KC.
Indeed. It's almost as though Karmine are pulling on both arms of Vitality.
Yeah.
You know, just like you mentioned, tugging them back and forth. No, come top lane. No, come bot lane. And Vitality are locked into a corridor where they're not too sure how to respond, so they decide to split their arms off, but you need both your arms all in one place.
Yeah, I think I can agree with that.
Thank you.
Pretty cool having both arms as they're Vitality.Bee, of course, trying to hold on right now. 2,000 gold behind is what we're working with. A lot of this is in top and jungle right now. Everything else has been pretty solid, even though Seiken has a pretty decent CS lead for himself here. Yeah. And the slow early game is fine for KC, even though it's like 2-2, because Reckless is still very quietly scaling up. But Corp, they don't like slow. No. Robbie. They don't like peace. They want problems.
They despise it, in fact.
Yeah.
Why do they always want problem beatdown?
Because they are the problem. That's the thing. They're causing problems.
They are the one who knock.
Yeah, exactly.
Shout out to Brian Cranston.
True.
Pretty good. Now, taking it again, we zoom back to him, able to get another free turret play for himself. Very much so. This potential set up. Diplex. He is in. He can just kill him. The solo goes down the shield. It's not going to be enough from the E and the Crescent Guard to save him. 1-1-3 also now in trouble. The baby case should be up in a couple more seconds. The flash, the lockdown onto 2. 1-1-3 is dead. That's the ignite. They kick back for Skeens, and they get more. Only getting 1 out of it. A 3-for-1 for Vitality.
Oh, and it's not even that great of a 3-for-1. You get 1 kill, and it's on to Huntera, the support. But Vitality.Bee are the ones who are laughing, taking everything from that exchange. You can see it. Seiken feels very safe right now going for this play, thinking, oh, my jungle and support are here. But the problem is, this Veigar has a lot of damage and is actually able to 100-0 you. And when you're caged under tower like that, you have to flash away, or, well, this happens.
Indeed. One to the next. Skeens was a flash for the kick as well, and so it was so clean, really well done by them. And as they continued, you mentioned how KC are the problem. KC always do want problem, but Team Vitality have found the solution just to beat them at their own game. And we saw inklings of this in the game against Gamers Origin, where they were seemingly matching KC at every single which way they tried to plan, and the Karmine just seemed to be lost in the sauce.
Well, we'll see. They're still ahead for now. Wouldn't quite say that they're lost yet.
Not yet.
But they're getting there. Yeah. Especially because Vitality.Bee are constantly applying some of this pressure here. I'm amazed that we're 14 minutes. Turret plates down and everything like that. and nobody's taken the first dragon yet. Nobody cares, and especially now Cabochard. Oh my gosh, they have no idea. He's just he's teleporting back to lane.
Yeah.
As Shigenda now has to back away. That's actually a good read from him to be able to dodge this.
Yeah, as he just spots how forward Cabochard is going. There's also a ward there as well, which Shigenda has, but there's no way for them to push into it. And considering, you know, 413 and Huntera were pushing up, they didn't know where they were on the map, so at least now with them playing safe, Vitality.Bee cannot move mid. They catch 113 inside the baby cage, and here comes the re-engage well. Pressing guard out, a bunch of damage, and I catch that. Over to 113 with a primordial burst.
Yeah, really nicely done, and this is what we're talking about with this pick. You get put in the event horizon, and even if you don't get stunned, the Skeens can kick you into it, and it's a crucial 4 seconds where you're going to get burst down by somebody here, and that pick means that Herald, second one, should easily go over to Skeens as he's going to go ahead and clear that one up, and it just puts KC even further behind. They can't trade for Dragon on the bottom. They can't do very much of anything else at the moment here. They're just kind of stuck.
One after the next. Yeah, simple, but as Dragon is up, like you're saying, they should be able to take it. It's a 15-minute Dragon as well, by the way.
Okay, so they will go for it, which is, yeah, it is really late. So if we're talking Dragon Souls, it's not going to be till like the 35-minute mark. Yeah, something insane like that.
That's just stupid at this point, which continues forward. But I have to say, with this, you know, kind of look from KC. You're looking at them in the past couple of weeks. The go-up has been real from Nice. That's really let a slice and dice a stun as well on his agenda. As it passes, that's where to get the shield. But, you know, we were looking at Vitality more so in this game, who've kind of glowed down a little bit. They were in contention for top seed. They're not necessarily out of contention for playoffs still, but Karmine want this game to secure it, because LDLC did win theirs.
Yep. So they have to win this game to keep their top 2 standings here
for sure
in the first day. That's gonna be important again because top 2, you get EU Masters. Right now, you see Cabochard. He's probably thinking of a dive just because he still has the Dominus ready to go, and that
off the board too.
Yeah, that Blade of the Rune King is doing work right now. And as things kind of slow back down, I mean, looking back at what these teams want to be doing here is that Vitality.Bee, they're feeling good when it comes to team fighting. And the thing is, when you look at Seiken, he's going to have a lot of damage, but getting value out of that Emperor's Divide is going to be hard because you need to go in, which when you think about the range of that ultimate, everybody on the side of Vitality.Bee, they don't really care about that range. They're like, yeah, you can stay over there if you want to, bro. That's fine. We're just going to, you know, throw out the cage, throw out damage, things like that. So you have a lot of pressure on people like 113, Huntera, to be able to find openings for this team.
Yeah. It is quite nice for them to be able to do so. Cabochard goes in. Speaking of which, Huntera and 113. That's the opening they were looking for. Force the flash shot from Shigenda. As they'll be able to take this tower. That was a call back to Visions. I miss him already.
Can you still hear his voice sometimes?
I can. That's why I said it like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Because that play doesn't work, you do get the tier 2, but of course you're going to lose one because the Herald is here. The recalls are coming out, so it's not going to get any more, but Jeskla getting solo turret gold from the tier 2 is really nice for this Jinx. That nice boost of gold is going to be really impactful for this team fighting that's going to be happening later on. And oh, nobody's there to stop the Herald from charging the tier 3, which is another... Well, that's just unfortunate. Now at this point, you're getting close to where Reckless is, where he's actually going to be able to fight. Because with this build, you're waiting for the Titanic Hydra to come through. 2 items. That's the big spike for Zeri, and that's when you're like, okay, I'm ready to go now. I'm ready to scrap it out.
Yeah, it's pretty easy to do so, considering, you know, Zeri needs and wants to definitely fight in like much much smaller chokes, right? Considering she can get her ultimate off there and then be able to bob and weave back and forth. Whether your E moving in and out of terrain is very, very cool and allows her to really poke and prod at your health bars. Although won't do a ton of damage, right? With just a Triforce, but once she gets her second item of the Titanic, she'll be able to at least chip away. It won't just be like small, like poke, 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 poke. Might be nice.
Yeah. Now Cabochard forced the TP away. He realized they were going to make a play on him, and he was probably donezo. So he's just going to go ahead and get out of there.
Dunzo
and allow... Yeah, I would. Oh, wow.
Laird CC, one after the next, and Huntera's just gone, but the crescent guard from 113, but no one to follow up. Cabochard not in range, pops over the wall, gets Skeens. Safeguard, not up yet, but just walks away. Nice.
Right, you're hoping that you'd be able to get him. Skeens doesn't even have to use the flash, but bright side, you do manage to get that turret in the mid lane. You're going to be able to push mid out further.
Yep.
Allow yourself to try and set up more deep vision as you fight for mid priority. The thing now, second dragon of the game in 20 minutes, by the way, is coming up. And I don't know if we're going to see teams really prioritize it right now. It's probably going to be about top side vision, trying to get this top tier one down so that you can play for the Baron. That is what's coming up soon. And now we look at the gold lead too. It's just Cabochard, man.
Yeah, I mean, this is not a graphic that is we uncommonly see, right? Every single time a lot of the lead is given over to Cabochard, considering how much they do play for him. To be fair, Sagenda has taken a lot of just the blunt force trauma, I could say, of the pressure given over by KC with him losing both of his towers. But the early game, he did quite well, and the fact that they managed to make sure that Seiken also did not get early leads by having to roam around with his pick on the Veigar. I think it just speaks to Vitality.Bee's preparation in this game as well, and how they managed to adapt to KC's playstyle, where they're not kind of forced to play this much more control, and able to find as many picks and snowball from there, as Dragon is now up.
Right, and I like this, because this is what we wanted from Vitality.Bee. More activity, more playmaking. And they have been showing it to us here, and a lot of it is because of Diplex, who we've already talked about in previous weeks as a good team fighter. Really good on these picks, like the Orianna especially, where it's good at setting up the team. And Veigar, not quite with the Shockwave, but has this ability to make these plays with the team. You have the Event Horizon, which he's been so good with so far. And he is 3-0-2 right now, has the Death Cap built, which works really great with his passive, offering more AP every time he gets a stack. And that means that he's hard to deal with. K-Corp, you get caught out by the cage, no matter who you are at this point, you're dead. So you have to be able to either make the first move, get that cooldown out, and make sure, or get the cooldown out, make sure it gets no value whatsoever. Yeah.
Now, you mentioned how Veigar's hard to deal with. Do you mean by just like personally, like as like a character, or just like in terms of the
he seems annoying. He's like very obsessed with his shortness.
You're right. It's like he talks about so much about how he's like, you know, he is, but also isn't short. But I think, you know what? It's rough having a compass like that, man. Like, but he's also a Yordle, so
yeah,
you shouldn't be too worried about that. It's fine because every Yordle is short, right?
Is he short amongst Yordles? Now I'm curious. I don't know. I can't really tell.
No. Just if you look at it, like every Yordle's like
think about Tristana, Lulu, and think of Veigar.
I think Lulu were overestimated because of the hat.
Maybe.
Yeah. Lulu's like decently okay, and Tristana also has big hair, right? Look at like Ziggs, right? And think about it. What if Hammerding was bald? Think how tiny he would be. Right.
I mean, he seems like he has a big head, but I see what you mean.
Also true, right? These are all potentials there.
Yeah.
But speaking of big heads like yours, Vitan, Vitality keep putting up big brain plays as they continue to, you know, try to gain control of sideways. Karmine, they're responding quite well as the trading just bought in the mid waves. Top lane, though, looks to be equalized by Sagenda.
Yeah, I mean, for the moment, K-Corp are the ones who have this lead on the map where they have every lane pushed in. They're using that priority to be able to, do this, set up these bush plays. They move, pressure bot, or mid, and then now they're going to use that to pressure this bot tier 2 turret. They aren't going to be able to actually take it down because Vitality read it well. But this is still good play there from KC, just being able to constantly try and take whatever they can from Vitality on the map. Problem is, though, they haven't been able to find too much just yet. And they're in this position where time, I wouldn't really say is on their side. Because you think about this Veigar, who's constantly scaling. You think about Jinx, who's excellent at late game team fighting with all the damage that those rockets are going to do.
Yeah.
K-Corp, this slow game usually does not benefit them. They like being aggressive. They like going in and making these plays and pushing the limits that we know that they can. But this Veigar pick has put a stop to it.
Indeed. Because the baby cage, as we call it, very, very good. Rocket goes by, and now all of Karmine look to execute. The blue ward will spot them, though, but they burn the stones quite quickly.
Yeah, 2 big damage dealers. Oh, Antera might be low.
Might be dead. Use the Graceful Fissure along with a stopwatch, but the Baron is now just gone. As they move in, they're able to get one. They locked on a second. And that is 2 picks going over to Vitality, but that's all they'll get.
Yeah, I mean, I like that willingness to pull the trigger from Vitality. Immediate double flash to make sure at least 113 isn't able to do very much with this. And now, the saving grace for KC is that, well, of course, one, you get the Baron, which is great. You have it on some key members where you're going to be able to at least threaten multiple lanes. You're going to have, you want Seiken and Reckless to group at the moment here, and then you also want Cabochard to be able to just focus on the side lane by himself. But as I say that, they're going to group up, try to make that play onto this Camille, and they're going to give up a lot mid in the process.
They get a tower during a Baron power play for Karmine. It just speaks to how ahead Vitality have been just across the map. This is seriously impressive. And because if you're looking up at the graphic, right, it's just about what they've been able to get in terms of Baron power play from where they were in gold, and they're 300 gold behind, 400 almost. Yeah, not the most ideal situation you want to be in, right? It's a unfortunate, but at the end of it, Karmine looking to bounce back. Next Dragon up in 30 seconds.
Right, and Karmine in this position where Dragon Soul is probably a good idea for them. This game, honestly, as time goes on and we're seeing how it's been played out, it could very well go another 10 minutes here. And Karmine, you can see it, they're just completely foregoing top lane. They'll let that turret go. It's just about controlling vision here, controlling this area of the map because they want that third Drake. Chigenda doesn't have TP either. That's why I think you see the ping targeting the turret. Instead, they're going to use what Baron buffs they have to take this tier 2, and then they're just going to allow 113 to solo the Drake. So Soul Point now is the win con, and this Ocean Soul is how K-Corp will try to win.
Yep, and we've seen that be the most common overall potential for the day, right on just making sure you're stacking dragons that can find the advantage over the other team. As there we go, that is Dragon taken away, considering Vitality had no priority and no business being there. And Ocean Soul has been, well, the Soul in general, I think we've gone to Soul every single game today, actually.
Did we go Soul last game?
I think we did. Yeah, we did. Didn't we?
Oh.
I'm pretty sure we did.
I am not 100% sure about that.
We did, yes, because Elder was coming up. Yes, we did.
Yeah, okay, there you go. And it is going to Soul, I mean, if you're a Karmine fan, you're hoping to go to Soul, because that's your way, that's their way in this game. Vitality.Bee, all they need is time. Because realistically, even though they're only a little bit behind, they're still strong enough where they... Oh.
All right. 113 goes in once again as there's a bunch of people from Karmine.
That's the
not enough to walk in. Sugenda's still staying alive until the Hectic Ultimatum, but Diplex isolated on the back end with concussive blows. 2 more, and Sugenda would have been theirs. Big call from Jack Cho as well, but not going to find its mark.
That's a big play, though. You make that, use the teleport, double teleport, actually, so it's a good thing you do manage to find something for it here, but they want to be able to get Diplex out of the picture here, because they're in a spot where now they put a lot of pressure on this bottom lane. They should have that one pushing on its own at the moment there until someone clears it. And the same thing is true of top. So now they can commit all their members to this mid lane, threaten this mid tier 2, and as soon as someone shows in the side lane, K-Corp, they can pull the trigger if they want to.
Indeed, as Vitality look to pull the trigger right now, we see Cabochard look to go in. The tower should be able to fall as Anthony has to flash away. 113, he goes in by himself and he stays alive, but 113 dies way too far forward, and now come the resets from Jeskla. He wants to get reckless, no slow, and pops over the wall. That's 2 for Vitality.
Yeah, that's a big deal. You managed to, K-Corp were the ones who are overforcing just a little bit there, trying to take that tier 2, and they end up giving away kills in the process here. I hope we see a replay, because I want to see what exactly took down 113, because it was the Super Mega Death Rocket for Cabochard, but ultimately you're getting a lot of gold onto this Jinx. That's what you're happy about here if you're Vitality.Bee, and you're keeping yourself in the game here, constantly making these plays and punishing the force. And now you're going to see how it started. The Chompers come through, but Cabochard, he's liking his chances. He just wants to go in here, pop the Dominus, see if he can burst down Jack Troll very quickly. But the stopwatch is what keeps him going. And at that point, once the initial engage is all said and done, you're allowing Jessica to just be allowed to walk you down.
Yep. It is just that easy. And now, every time it seems as though Karmine have found a small advantage, have found a way to pressure Vitality and gain the tempo, on more so on their end. They just lose a bit too much. Previously, it was that mid turret off the Baron play, and now here, it's 2 kills. And suddenly Vitality have the option to set up across the entire map. Vision, very much in their favor on the top side as Baron comes up in 50 seconds. The Soul not going to be there for a minute 50. But if Vitality do take an early team fight and manage to get an ace, then Karmine might unfortunately have to forego a fair amount of the game. And they can also stop the Ocean Soul stacking that they have set up for themselves.
Right, Karmine would have to give up a lot of time, and I think that's the problem. Time isn't on their side. I think they know that. That's why they are constantly keeping up the aggression, constantly trying to find angles and pull the trigger on them. Now, the thing is, they're just guarding top side. I don't think they're actually trying to make an offensive play. They're just making sure Cabochard doesn't get dove, and maybe hoping that they can prevent this turret from going down. But we're getting close to where resets are coming through. You got to start focusing on this bottom side of the map here, pushing mid, and then walking into the river, because Corp, they need this Drake. They want to win this game.
They want it. They need it. They feel it. But, you know, they've got to be able to set up for it by the end of it. For now, though, it'll be a bit of a standstill. As I say that, Huntera will stand still. And, potentially die. Jax will take, yep, there you go, there you go. Yep, there you go. He dies. And now Sajin looks to walk in. A nice crescent guard as on the back end to save himself for a couple more seconds. That'll be all she wrote. As you look going forward with 1-1-3 and Huntera going down once more. Cabochard is still alive, but the Baron is now on the table for Vitality.
And you got to try and force them off if you're Corp, but it's hard. You don't have Smite. 1-1-3 gets kicked into the cage and is just deleted, which means that is going to be it. Maybe you can stop recalls if you're Cabochard, waste some time, because your consolation is if you can go for this dragon that's starting in 5 seconds. And I think they're going to have the chance, they're going to have the time. Vitality.Bee know this. You're seeing double TPs mid and top because they want to push this advantage as much as they can now with the Baron buff.
There's just one after the next is going forward, but like you say, in the Ocean Soul, now for Karmine, you know, that does mean that the burst has to be there for Vitality, because if they're able to kite back, if they're able to survive, then suddenly this game goes very, very differently. And Karmine have shown a propensity for being resilient, for having the plot armor, as we've said throughout the day.
Well, we're going to have to see how thick it really is, because Vitality.Bee, they're in a good spot. And, wow, I must have missed something, because unless the graphic is wrong, that's actually the Ocean Soul?
That is the Ocean Soul, yes.
What?
Dude, just give that up.
What happened?
I was going to say, yeah, I thought you noticed, but maybe we should know this. Huntera's dead again, bro. No way, man. That's second, but look how big Cabochard is. You can try to walk in on some more. He's locked down. And we'll see Sajena give up his life to make sure all of them are cornered. Vitality destroy Karmine. That's 4 down, a double kill for Diplex as they open up the floodgates.
I think that's going to be it here. Ontera is the only one coming up soon. Reckless doesn't have enough in the tank unless we see a godlike performance coming through, but they are going to look for the Zeri.
We'll see if the God Reckless himself can do anything at all, but he's just bobbing, weaving, he's tickling them beat down. He can't do much at all. They may have gotten the soul, but they lose the game.